Hello, good morning, people. Welcome to the 8th psychological test of inclination style. Now, what does this mean? This is what the worksheet looks like. It has 80 questions, as you can see, if you scroll down. The answers are to be given in digital form, kind of agree or disagree. This is not a ranking, this is just yes or no, agree or disagree. So all you have to do is type in a 1 or 0 in the answer column and you will get your results in terms of 4 types of inclinations. Now, what are we trying to do here? Just a side note. We are trying to bridge astrology and mainstream psychological tests, yes? So you can have a sort of idea what planetary energy are you actually using. Because let's face it, whatever you're using as energy is just a planetary energy, okay? Your emotions, thoughts, feelings, your drives, your unconscious, subconscious, all of these things, that tools that mainstream psychology gives us, will also help tie into your natal chart, your kendras, your houses number 1 to 7, and as well as 10 in your professions. So that being said, here there are 4 types of inclinations that individuals have, and it can go in percentage like it is here. So it starts with the activist, the pragmatist, the reflectors, and the theorists. What is dominant? And these planets can be dominant if it's said so. So let's first see. This person is 24% an activist. Who is an activist in this context? In the context of a psychological framework. Activist is someone who involves themselves fully without bias in new experiences. They enjoy the here and now and are happy to be dominated by immediate experiences. They are open-minded, not skeptical, and this tends to make them enthusiastic about anything new. Their philosophy is, I'll try anything once. Once is the key word. They tend to act first and consider consequences afterwards. People tend to call them rash, but actually they are just activists. You see how I'm separating judgment and putting labels on people rather than avoiding that, and then taking the core energy of it. Everybody is useful in my worldview. We just need to put right things in the right places. Their days are filled with activity. They tackle problems by brainstorming. As soon as excitement from one activity has died down, they are busy looking for the next. They could be cholerics also, what we saw in temperament. They tend to thrive on challenge of new experiences but are bored with implementation and long-term consolidation. These are the actions, something like Aries, something like Mars. They are gregarious people constantly involving themselves with others. And in doing so, they seek to center all activities on themselves. Mars again and Rahu. So north node of the moon and Mars combination in the chart, or aspects to one another, or conjunction, will give a more dominant activist kind of inclination. Yes? Next one, pragmatist. Now, who are these kind of people or kind of inclinations? Pragmatists are keen on trying out ideas, theories, and techniques to see if they work in practice, sort of test and see if they actually work or if it's just a blah blah. They positively search out new ideas and take the first opportunity to experiment with application. They are the sorts of people who return from management courses brimming with new ideas that they want to try out in practice. So they have learned something new, now they want to try it out and test. It's like a litmus test. They like to get on with things and act quickly and confidently on ideas that attract them. They tend to be impatient with ruminating and open-ended discussions. Don't sit and think too much about it. Test it and see is where they are coming from. They are essentially practical, down-to-earth pile who like making practical decisions and solving problems. They respond to problems and opportunities as a challenge. Their philosophy is there is always a better way, and if it works, it's good enough. So who are they planetary wise? If Saturn and Mars, or aspects of, or ascendant, or if it's in the 5th house, for example, they're very pragmatic kind of people. Yes? Especially if it's conjunct. Because Saturn gives that pragmatism, Saturn gives that practicality, and Mars gives that drive. Come on, let's move it. Let's try it out and see is Mars. Saturn is, let's see if it's practical, if it works. Reflectors. They like to stand back to ponder experiences and observe them from different perspectives. They collect data, both first-hand and from others, prefer to think about it thoroughly before coming to any conclusion. The thorough collection and analysis of data about experiences and events is what counts. So they tend to postpone reaching definitive conclusions for as long as possible, obviously. I am not yet firm on what I think about this or what I conclude about this. That's their approach. Their philosophy is to be cautious. Reflectors. They are thoughtful people who like to consider all possible angles before coming to any conclusion, before making even a move. They prefer to take a back seat in meetings and discussions. These are the quiet people. They're reflecting. They enjoy observing other people in action. They listen to others and get the drift of the discussion before making their own points. They tend to adopt a low profile and have a slightly distant, tolerant, unruffled air about them. When they act, it is part of a wider picture which includes the past, the present, as well as other observations and their own. So who are the reflectors? In astrology, it would be Ketu in aspect with Mercury. Now, Mercury is the intellectual guy. Ketu is the withdrawn kind of person. Ketu is a reflector, essentially. Like Rahu is an activist. Rahu goes outward into the world. Ketu wants an internal world. The empath, the reflector. In this context, it will be Mercury along with Ketu. This will make a quiet person because it disconnects the chatterbox of Mercury. It wants to ponder internally. Next one, last one being theorists. Now, who are the theorists? Theorists adapt and integrate observations into a complex but logically sound theories. They are fond of all kinds of theories. They think problems through vertical step-by-step logical way. They assimilate disparate facts into coherent theories. They tend to be perfectionists who won't rest easy until theories and models and systems thinking. So whenever you use the word perfectionist, think Jupiter straight away. Jupiter is a perfectionist. He wants all the ducks in a row, everything before I even say Yahoo, They like to analyze and synthesize. They are keen on basic assumptions, principles, theories, models, etc. They will ask the questions, does it make sense? How does this fit with that? These are the questions they will ask. Or what are the basic assumptions of this and that? They tend to be detached, analytical, and dedicated to rational objectivity. There's the keyword. Rather than anything subjective or ambiguous. Sort of in the previous worksheets we have seen local and global. See, again, there Jupiter was the global guy. Their approach to problems is consistently logical. This is their mental set, and they rigidly reject anything that doesn't fit with it. Jupiter is actually a very rigid planet. It follows the guidelines, especially things like Sagittarius, the 9th house. This is the guideline. This is the religion. These are the rules. If you do it such and such, you'll be thrown out or ostracized. That's the rigidity of Jupiter, really speaking. They prefer to maximize certainty and feel uncomfortable with subjective judgments, lateral thinking, and anything flippant. Well, that's a relative term, isn't it? What Jupiter considers as flippant may not necessarily be so. So, if you have a dominant Jupiter, especially in the Kendras, 1, 4, 7, or 10th house, or even in your thinking pattern, the 5th house, 1st house, or the 9th house, these are all the determining places in the chart where the thinking is determined. What is your thinking style? Or 3rd house, right? What is your skill style? So take this test, compare your chart, and see if you're using the planetary energies in this fashion. Now, just a caveat, everybody will have parts of this. It's not black or white, folks. You answer these 80 questions, you will know how much you are a pragmatist, how much of an activist, how much of a reflector, how much of a theorist, and then go to your chart. In this chart, for example, reflector is the highest, right? So this person must have a strong Mercury and Ketu there in the Kendras 1, 5, or 9. Next is theorist. So this fellow is reflection and theory. He's more interested in intellectual exercises, something like a professor, teacher, a researcher. Those qualities are needed. Mercury, Jupiter, and Ketu for such a thing. Just giving you a random example. Alright, I'll see you in the next. Take this test, download, and everything is in the description box. You can see it, download it, check it out, leave your comments, and I wish you good luck.